Do you want insider real estate investing training videos for free? Throughout this video, click the challenge button to subscribe to my free 30-day video series, How I Close Nearly a Deal a Day.
Welcome back for another week of the Vekselman Report, coming to you live from the Vekselman Marketing Office in New York, the very heart of some of the biggest and most exciting real estate deals in the world. I'm Michael David McGuire, along with our show host, Peter Vekselman. Peter, you set to go?
All set.
Yeah. Peter, listen, whenever we do a show, emails come in. I do make a point of collecting them. Some are good, some are less than good, I guess I would say. This one caught my eye. It's from Teresa in Hamilton, Ontario, and she writes, we have friends in Buffalo. I mean, it's just across the border right now. We have friends in Buffalo who did really well in real estate investing. They think you are a superhero. Can you work with us here in Canada?
Sure.
Yeah. Well, friends, if you'd like to get in on the conversation with a question for Peter Vekselman, you can reach us now live here in New York at area code 212-465-3205. Peter, ready to go?
All set.
Pete in St. Augustine, Florida on line 3. You're with Peter Vekselman here on the Vekselman Report.
Hey, guys. Awesome show, man. I love it.
Well, thank you. Listen, what's your question for Peter Vekselman?
My question is, if we come into, everyone talks about where to place their money, whether it's the stock market or anything else, and I happen to be in real estate. What do you think? Should I stay in Florida locally with a bit? We got a lot of money, a lot of people coming to talk to us about buying. Should we stay locally, or what's your thoughts on that?
Hey, Pete, thanks for the question. There's really two ways to invest money in real estate. One is you invest it locally, like you said, right around the communities or the cities you live in. One is you go chase deals all over the United States, okay? Now, the one thing I will tell you, if you're just starting out in the business or really to the point until you get to be very advanced investor in the business, I always recommend local investing. Even if it costs you a little bit more, or even if the deals may not be quite as good, but what that does is that compensates for all the problems that come in with people that are investing all over the United States. Remember, when you're investing locally, you could see it, feel it, touch it, smell it. When you're investing locally, you can interview the crews that are working on it if it needs to be fixed. When you're investing locally, you could build a local team and you could hold that team accountable beyond just some kind of emails or faxes. When you go outside of your area, a lot of problems come in. Most of the time, you don't really know the people you're working with. You don't know the people that are providing you deals. A lot of times you don't know the people that are going to be selling it in the back end. And it's very hard to react when you're not investing locally. For instance, if your local construction crew falls apart, well, all you do is you get in your car or you call a couple people, you go check out some other projects, you verify some references, you see it, feel it, touch it, some other stuff, and you're like, yep, I'm confident this is the new people to put on. And guess what? If you're investing across the United States and your crew walks out, it's very hard to replace a construction crew going, that's across the country. So there's no question. When you're starting out, or even if you're kind of an intermediate investor, keep your investing somewhere where you could see it, feel it, touch it. Stay local as much as possible.
Wow, that's some great advice. I watch all your videos, and I've been following you and everything. And one thing you always stress is, and this is just reiterating it, is that it's a relationship business, and there's nothing like having a relationship with the people that are fixing it or running it. And so thank you for that.
Pete, in St. Augustine, you just said a word that I love, which is relationship. And in the many months that I've been working with Peter Vekselman, that's one of the things that I've heard him stress over and over. And Peter, let me ask you a question. Do you have a sense that a lot of people trying to get into real estate just focus on the money in the deal and not the relationship?
Well, because the money in the deal is what screams real estate. The people always talk, hey, you need money to invest. You need deals to invest. But what most people forget is what drives all of that is the relationships. A good relationship will get you cheaper money. A good relationship will get you better deals. A good relationship will get you better realtors. A good relationship. So what I always stay focused on, and I call it connecting the dots theory. I'm staying focused on always developing relationships, and I connect these relationships. I connect my construction guys to my realtors, my money guys to the deal guys, and that's all it is. It's a relationship-driven business, and then relationships drive the rest.
Pete in St. Augustine, let me ask you this. What are the dynamics on the ground right now in terms of real estate, specifically in St. Augustine?
I mean, I'm in the St. Augustine and Jacksonville area. It's interesting because we just had a storm come through. So whenever there's bad news or anything, that's the time that you got to have courage and you back up the trucks to go buy more and more and more. And you're seeing some great deals with great numbers, for rental and everything else.
And for our people, our friends listening today, and specifically in the Jacksonville and St. Augustine area, when you talk about it, these are homes that are damaged and insurance isn't covering the damage. Is it that kind of situation?
Yes, it's that kind of situation. I think, and again, from watching Peter's videos and going through it, I'm a big follower of his. I think whenever there's times of uncertainty, that's the time that you get the best deals. And just like neighborhoods where there's a house, the hodgepodge theory, which is one of Peter's big thing, is you look for houses that are, you look for neighborhoods that have different types of houses, a big variance in the prices. And that's where you can make some, money in investing. So down here, our rental rates are really good, compared to the purchase price. And it's been it's just about being disciplined. It's not chasing the shiny object. That's why I was asking that question, because I've had some deals in different areas, but I'm not familiar with their laws in different states and all that. So that's why I was asking them. Some of the yields are good, but I feel more comfortable in this area. So it was, kind of a reminder.
Yeah, well, Pete, I think one of the things that you just hit on is not chasing the shiny object. And I've heard Peter Vekselman talk about that. Pete, thanks for the call. Peter Vekselman, a lot of people lose a lot of money by chasing the shiny object and overpaying for property, don't they?
Well, when you chase that, you encounter so many other things. Again, you can't have your own team making decisions for you. Chances are you're making decisions quicker than you need to be making decisions. So, yeah, it's slow and steady in this business. It's building the right infrastructure in a certain location, preferably local, building it with checks and balances, building it with fail-safe mechanisms. And any day, I'd rather take a slow and steady, consistent, persistent, very predictable business that one that's all over the place trying to make the next $1 million, which is really not realistic.
And in your coaching and mentoring business with your clients around the country, that's one of the things I know you stress. Peter, we received this email from Thomas in Boulder, Colorado. He writes, Boulder has become a really hot market. How could you help me here? Boulder is hot. I've been there. Peter, how could you help this guy?
Well, I would help him the exact same way I would help to somebody in a different part of the country. I would identify what his personal situation is, what his personal needs are, what his personal objectives are, how much time he can or can't put in there. And then absolutely I would show him how to capitalize on a hot and thriving market like that.
Yeah. And Peter, let me ask you, is it easier to work a slow market or a hot market?
No, not neither. There is no perfect market, is what I say. And because if there would, we'd all be chasing it. Yeah. So you have to understand the dynamics of every market. You would react differently in a slow market as opposed to a fast-moving market.
Right.
You would do things a little differently, but so you have to be able to be adaptive. And here's the other thing you have to understand: slow markets become fast markets, and fast markets slow down. So how you set yourself up has to be with the intent of in the future be able to be mobile to make adjustments.
Yeah, and that's, of course, what you help your clients with. Well, friends, our number here in New York is area code 212-465-3205. If you are listening live, the lines are open now, and you can speak in person with Peter Vekselman, one of America's most successful real estate investors and real estate coaches. And I know coaching is a tough job. Peter, ready to catch another call?
Sure.
Danielle in Cumming, Georgia, on line 4. You're on the air with Peter Vekselman. Danielle, line 4, on the air with Peter Vekselman. Peter, a challenge here. I just got a signal from the control room. Can we? Okay. Peter, while we're waiting to get Danielle on line 4, something that a family member of mine asked me and asked me to pass on to you next time we talk, which I guess is now. They had tried the real estate investing thing before, lost a by their standards, a lot of money. I mean, what makes them think they could be successful again?
Well, look, it's just like getting a bad haircut. Does that mean you never get a haircut again, or going to a doctor that may have not given you the perfect advice? Does that mean you never go to another doctor? Well, same thing in this business. Usually when people don't become successful in this business, it's a very identifiable issue. They did the wrong things. They made the wrong decisions. They picked the wrong team member.
Right.
And do not, under any circumstances, let that prevent you from getting in again.
Well, you know, and this is a family member of mine. I know this happened 15 years ago, and even at the time, it was my opinion at the time they overpaid for the property that they were playing with.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Okay. Another question that I know people have asked me. I know the answer. You don't need to have a college degree to do this, do you?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Right. It takes a different kind of smarts, doesn't it, in terms of real estate investing and good leadership. I mean, or getting good information from good people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Peter. Okay, Danielle, no. All right. Listen, do I need a real estate license to do this business?
No, absolutely not. I've been 15 plus years in this business, over 3,000 deals behind me. I'm an investor. A realtor needs a license. An investor does not need a license.
And that's a point that is confusing, I think, to some people, right?
It is, because a lot of times people clump everything and everyone in a particular industry under the same umbrella.
Right.
Although we're all in the same industry, there are different professions of this industry and different niches of this industry.
So if my wife and I hypothetically came into $100,000 a gift or inheritance, that would really be enough to get a career going in real estate investing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's more than enough. There's plenty of techniques and strategies that allow you to double, triple, quadruple that nest egg.
But, well, then the follow-up question I would ask is, could somebody do it for $10,000 or $20,000?
Absolutely. The great thing about this business is that literally if you're in your last dollar, but if you're willing to implement the right techniques, the right strategies, most importantly, put the right time and effort into it, you could build empires out of almost nothing.
A follow-up question that I might ask you is, you hear these things on late night TV about get rich, sit on your butt, do nothing, no cash, no money, no nothing, and get rich in real estate. People are suspicious. What's your take on that?
Well, look, you should be suspicious if you're doing things that you don't know how to do correctly. And that's why I always tell people, make sure you're getting the right advice, the right mentor, the right individual to be able to help you. But that is possible to do this business without having a lot of money or any money. Of course, having a little nest egg helps. But the most important thing is to align yourself with the right information and implement things correctly on a day-to-day basis.
And be smart about what you're doing. And I think the thing that troubles me about these late-night infomercials on get rich in real estate is the implication is that you don't have to know what you're doing. You don't have to have a brain cell. You don't have to work. And that's not possible, is it?
No, absolutely not. You got to have you got to know what you're doing, and it does help to have a brain cell, and you have to have the right information.
And work hard. Peter, what would you say is one of the things that most people miss when they want to build a successful real estate investing business?
Well, they miss figuring out what their ultimate objective is. In this business, there's so many different things you could do. You could develop long-term passive income. You could develop short-term income. You could develop the kind of deals that you never even see because the way you're structuring them. You could have a very hands-on business. So the biggest thing is figure out what it is you're trying to get out of this business. Are you a short-term player? Are you a long-term player? Are you a passive investor? Are you an active investor? Are you looking to be hands-on? Are you looking to be hands-off? And when you start determining what your ultimate goals are, the objective of what needs to be done on a daily basis becomes very evident.
And in your day-to-day coaching and mentoring work with clients, this is what you help people figure out, right?
Absolutely. It's the first thing we work on.
Yeah. Peter, if someone is interested in working with you and your team, how do they get in touch?
Well, the best way to do it is to send a text message directly to my cell phone at 404-915-9685.
And if somebody has a property they want to sell, I know you do quick cash offers on property all over the country. How do they contact you for that? Same way?
Yeah, the best thing to do is, again, just send me a text message to my cell phone at 404-915-9685 and put the word cash offer in there.
Peter, before we run out of time for this week's show, let me run through a couple of emails that came in.
Okay.
Listen, Eldon in Ogden, Utah writes, one of my investment partners talked to me about you and your collaborative approach. I'm still not sure I fully get it. Peter, you've explained this so many times, but let's do it one more time.
Well, basically what we do is we take a consultative approach with sellers, whereas just going in one-dimensionally that we want to buy your property or we want to sell your property from a realtor perspective, we take a collaborative approach, which means we let the sellers determine, do they want a quick cash sale, which we'll pay them a little bit less for, or are they willing to stay in the deal, which we're willing to retail and just put it simply in the market. It's an approach that's absolutely sweeping the United States with us right now.
Well, and it may be the new way of real estate, and you've certainly led the way in this. I mean, for many years now. You know, somebody in reference to your work said to me, this Vekselman guy, he's offering cash for houses, which of course you do, and he's offering lower price. But if your house is, say, $100,000 and you offer somebody $75,000, but it saves them $30,000 in repair, I mean, that ends up being better for the seller, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's a very vanilla kind of deal. They don't have to go in there. They don't have to fix things. They don't have to have a bunch of sellers, or buyers trunching through their house, pointing out all the things that are wrong with it. They don't have financing contingencies. Yeah, it's a much quicker way to do a deal. It's a much easier way. And a lot of times they make pretty much close to what they would in the retail side.
Well, and you're taking a big hassle off of them. Let's say I had a house that I wanted to sell and I want you to make me a quick cash offer. I text you and you get in touch with me. How long would it take to close?
We can close as quickly as just a week or two.
All right. Next email, Nancy in Tulsa, Oklahoma writes, how do you find the best deals in your area? We live in Tulsa, and there seem to be a lot of rental properties for sale. Do you have a formula?
Well, the first thing I will tell you, the best way to find properties that are good deals is work for properties that are off market, that are not for sale. The reason a property is for sale and it's still for sale and no one's bought it's probably not that good of a deal. So learn how to go directly to the owners through things like signage, postcards, direct mail, and things like that. And a simple formula, make sure you're making at least 20% return on your investment. That's a very safe way to do this business.
And then the exact properties that somebody goes after, I mean, that would be totally different in each situation, right?
Absolutely. Depends on the situation.
Yeah, Peter, and quickly, less than 30 seconds, quick answer. Gregory in Lincoln, Nebraska writes, I hear people talk about postcard marketing for finding properties to buy, which you just mentioned. Do postcards really work? A local design company says they can put my picture... I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh. A local design company says they can put my picture and do glossy photo shots of me for $1,500. Is that a fair price?
Well, I don't know if that's a fair price, but I could tell you it's something that you don't need to be spending. I would go with the first approach, direct postcards directly to seller with a very specific message about what it is you do. There's no better way to market, but no better use of money.
And I've heard you say on the stage in some of your speaking engagements, ugly postcards work best, and I'm a believer there. Well, Peter, listen, about out of time as always. Good talking with you today. What do you have coming up next week?
Well, we're going to be spending about 3 or 4 days at the lake house. We're going to have a bunch of friends over, or having our whole family over there. Going to take the boat out, having some great food, just reaping the rewards of this business.
And you like the flexibility that comes with that kind of work, right?
Absolutely.
Well, Peter Vekselman sounds good. We'll see you next week.
Great, Mike. It's always great plugging in with you.
Hey, you guys know what we do here. We do a ton of deals, and I have a one-on-one coaching program where I coach people just like you to help become very, very successful real estate investors. So if you're a buyer or you know other buyers literally all over the world that are looking for deals in the Georgia market, specifically concentrated towards Atlanta, you need to be on our buyers list. By now, you'll see my email scrolling across the screen. Send me an email. Just say, add me to the buyers list. And on a daily basis, you're going to get some terrific, both ROI and equity-driven deals emailed right directly to you through email. The other thing, if you're looking to become a successful investor, whether you're brand new, just getting started, or whether you're doing it already and you're looking to be a bigger, more sophisticated, more savvy investor, I know I could help you do that. Send me an email to learn more about my one-on-one coaching program, or better yet, right below this video, there's a link right directly to coachingbypeter.com. You can go straight there and learn more about how I could help you become very successful in this industry.